From various origin stories to several actors' performances, this video is going to cover all of those topics and so much more as I go into who is the Joker. My name is Harrison Cox, you're watching HC Industries, and let's get right into it. Well, to start things off, Joker was created by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson and Bill Finger. The Joker made his debut in Batman on April 25th, 1940. He was originally introduced as a psychopath with a sadistic, warped sense of humour, but this had to change in the late 1950s, which turned him into a goofy prankster kind of Joker. However, we will get into that more later on. The Joker was inspired by Conrad Veidt in a 1928 film adaptation of Victor Hugo's The Man Who Laughs. For now, let's move on to his origin story. Well, sort of. The thing about the Joker is that there isn't a clear-cut origin story for him. The most common story to be told makes him fall into a chemical waste tank which bleaches his skin white, turns his hair green and turns his lips bright red. This resulting disfigurement leads him to insanity. This version of origin story has been twisted in little subtle ways. If you want me to make a separate video going into more depth about the origin, then comment down below. If you remember earlier, I mentioned that the Joker had to go from a psychopath to a goofy prankster in the late 1950s. Well, there are 4 ages in comics. The Golden Age, from 1938 to 1956, when Joker was a psychopathic and serial killer kind of Joker. The Silver Age, from 1956 to 1970, from when we saw this kind of Joker go from a psychopath to a goofy prankster due to the Comics Code Authority and the public's disapproval. The Bronze Age, from 1970 to 1984, from when we saw the Joker turn back to his old roots as a serial killer, however with a body modification. And finally, the Modern Age, from 1985 to today, which is how we see the Joker in today's comics. Now then, I think it's the perfect time to move on to the next section, which is several actors' live action performances and voice actors. The first actor to play the Clown Prince of Crime was Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero starred in the Batman TV series from 1966 to 1968 and also starred in the Batman film, which was released in 1966. Some may know Romero was the Joker to not take it seriously and didn't want to shave off his famous moustache for the role, keeping his moustache when you could still see it under the white face paint. The next actor to take on the role of the Joker was Jack Nicholson. Nicholson starred in the Tim Burton film Batman in 1989 and took a much darker turn to the Joker compared to the Cesar Romero one. In the film, Jack Nicholson is Jack Napier, which is a combination of Jack Nicholson and Alan Napier, who played Alfred in the 1960s series. In this film, we see a live incarnation of the most common told origin story for the Joker. Nicholson's Joker uses a lot of gags and tricks, much like Romero's Joker, but Nicholson's take uses the gags in a more deadly way. After Nicholson, we wait 19 years until we see the Joker reborn by Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was at first a controversial choice, but doesn't look to be very controversial anymore, as he is said to be one of the best portrayals of the character. He prepared for the role pretty intensely as he locked himself in a hotel room for a month before filming and made a Joker diary, so if he ever needed to get back into character on set, he could just flip through a couple pages of the diary. Only 8 years later, we move on to Jared Leto, who played the Joker in Suicide Squad. Leto was reported to send the other actors and actresses on the set of Suicide Squad creepy gifts such as a live rat, bullets, a video message, and even a pig's head. 3 years later, the Joker was reborn in the incarnation of Joaquin Phoenix. The Phoenix Joker is different, as this film is all about a potential origin story that the Joker could have had, and the director of the film, Todd Phillips, said that one of his inspirations was a quote from The Killing Joke.
If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
And that this film is one of them possibilities. Joaquin Phoenix prepared for the role by starving himself by only eating an apple a day, which caused him to lose 52 pounds within a few months. Being the most recent film, I won't speak too much about it. Just so you are all aware, Cameron Monaghan is claimed to not be the Joker in the TV series Gotham, because Fox said so. I should also mention that Roger Stoneburner played the Joker in the Birds of Prey TV show back in 2002, but was voiced over by Mark Hamill, which leads perfectly into my next point. Right now, I'll just list off all of the voice actors to have voiced the Joker. We have John DiMaggio, Zach Galifianakis, Troy Baker, Anthony Ingruber, Jason Spisak, Kevin Michael Richardson, Larry Storch, Richard Epcar, Michael Emerson, Christopher Corey Smith, Jeff Bergman, Jeff Bennett, Lenny Weinrib, and last of all, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is said to be the voice of the Joker, as he has voiced the character in Batman the Animated Series, Mask of the Phantasm, New Batman Adventures, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Birds of Prey, Justice League, Robot Chicken, Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Throughout the video, you may have heard me say some of the Joker's nicknames already. Well, some of the Joker's nicknames are the Clown Prince of Crime, the Ace of Knaves, the Jester of Genocide, the Harlequin of Hate, and Mr. J, which is Harley Quinn's frequent name for him. Just a few of Joker's aliases are Jack White, Jack Napier, Joe Kerr, Melvin White, Oberon Sexton, Dr. J. Reckon, and a bunch more. After watching this video, I hope you learned a little bit more about the Joker. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it across lots of social media platforms if you want to see more content like this. I've been Harrison Cox for HC Industries.